Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our special transmission on the first anniversary of Marka-E-Haq. Of course, Marka-E-Haq doesn't just represent a military response, a befitting one, but also equally a diplomatic and a strategic victory for Pakistan. When we reflect on what happened not a year ago, it is of course Pakistan's tale of acting in self-defense and restraint against an enemy that actually knows no laws. It acted without provocation. It acted on hubris based on little to no actual realities, and that's what we saw not a year ago. With respect to that, we have something special for you today, a tale of bravery. Let's hear and see what we have for you.
इसका मकसद ही कुछ ये था कि ये हमारे पूरे जो केपी और फिर आगे हमारे जो पाकिस्तान के बड़े शहर हैं, इन्होंने उधर अंदर आके वहाँ पे दहशतगर्दी कार्रवाइयाँ करनी थी, पाकिस्तान को डिस्टेबलाइज़ करना था और पाक अफवाज की जो अटेंशन है उसको डाइवर्ट करना था।
इससे पहले इनकी 10 से 12 की तश्कील मुश्तमिल होती थी और इस दफ़ा 50 से 60 से ज़्यादा बंदे हमने आगे देखे, तो वो मेरे लिए एक सबसे टफ़ सिचुएशन थी क्योंकि मेरे अलावा वहाँ पे 30 जवान मौजूद थे।
ये किराए के कातिल लोग हैं, ये गैर मुल्कों से फंडिंग लेते हैं और पाकिस्तान में आके तो ये जो है ना दहशतगर्दी करते हैं और अवाम में खौफ व हरास फैलाते हैं।
जब आप अमन में होकर अच्छी ट्रेनिंग करेंगे, अपना पसीना बहाएंगे, तो जंग में हमेशा आपकी कामयाबी आपके कदम चूमेगी।
मेरे ये जवान हथेली पे जान, वतन का है मान, जुर्रत के निशान, जुर्रत के निशान। जुर्रत के निशान।
रूटीन क्वाडकॉप्टर की सर्विलेंस के दौरान हमें 2 से 3 किलोमीटर अफ़गानिस्तान में 10 से 12 ख़वारिज नज़र आए और जिसकी मैंने फ़ौरन अपने कमांडिंग अफसर को इतला की और अपना क्वाडकॉप्टर सेफ़ डिस्टेंस पे लेके उनको मॉनिटरिंग करनी स्टार्ट कर दी। उनका रुख पाकिस्तान बॉर्डर की तरफ था और उनके पास 3 से 4 लाइकली रूट्स थे। मैंने अपनी असेसमेंट के मुताबिक इनिशियल डिप्लॉयमेंट करके अपने एम्बुश लोकेशंस डिप्लॉय कर दिए और आहिस्ता आहिस्ता उनकी फेंस की तरफ जो उनकी मूवमेंट थी उसको ऑब्ज़र्व करके पास बैक करता रहा।
हमारी सर्विलेंस डिवाइसेस अच्छी थी, हमने उनको पहले ही डिटेक्ट कर लिया, वक्त से पहले डिटेक्ट करने के बाद हमने कहा कि इसको हम ल्योर करेंगे, इस पर हम फायर करके इनको भगाएंगे नहीं, क्योंकि उनके पास साजो सामान इतना ख़तरनाक था जो कि किसी और जगह से भी वो एंटर होके तो पाकिस्तान को नुकसान दे सकते थे।
और अपनी अपनी जगह ब्लॉकिंग पोजीशंस के ऊपर पहुंचे।
क्योंकि आगे पहाड़ी एरिया है सारा, उसमें जब उन्होंने थोड़ा पहुंच गए नज़दीक, उसके बाद वो थोड़े हमें नज़र आना बंद हो चुके थे। शाम को 7 बजे करीब वो फेंस के नज़दीक पहुंचे और 8 बजे जब वो फेंस से 300 मीटर्स पे आए, तब हमें उनकी असल नीयत का पता चला कि किधर से वो बॉर्डर क्रॉस करने का सोच रहे हैं। हमें पता चला कि ये 300 मीटर पे 50 से 60 फ़ौरज हैं। मैंने अपने ट्रुप्स के साथ उधर रिहर्सल्स की हुई थी, मुझे अपने ट्रुप्स पे कॉन्फिडेंस था। उनकी बेस के ऊपर मैंने अपने कमांडिंग ऑफिसर से रिक्वेस्ट की कि इनको सर अंदर आने दें, हमारी तैयारी पूरी है और इंशाल्लाह अल्लाह ताला हमारा साथ देगा और हम इनको जन्म हासिल करेंगे।
ल्योर एंड किल कि हमने इनको सोचा कि हम ल्योर करेंगे और हम इनको बॉर्डर क्रॉस करने देंगे। इसकी वजह ये भी थी क्योंकि ये हम एक सबूत भी पेश करना चाहते थे कि ये वाकई हमारे बॉर्डर से गैर कानूनी तौर पे इधर से इन्फिल्ट्रेट करने की कोशिश करते हैं और ताकि हम इनको मौका पर पकड़ें। ये मेरे लिए एक बड़ा टफ़ और कॉल थी क्योंकि जब 60 से 70 दहशतगर्द एकदम अंदर आते हैं तो वो किसी पोस्ट के ऊपर भी अटैक कर सकते हैं।
उस दौरान में मैंने अपने एम्बुश लोकेशंस चेंज किए और वेट किया उनके आने का अपने किलिंग जोन के अंदर, जिसकी हमने पहले से तैयारी करके रखी हुई थी और जिस पे हम प्रैक्टिस कर चुके थे पहले। 9 बजे उन्होंने फेंस काटनी स्टार्ट की। हम सब चीज़ ऑब्ज़र्व कर थे उनको और उन्होंने फेंस काट के अंदर आना स्टार्ट किया। हमारी सीक्रेसी इसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट थी कि हमने अपना सरप्राइज़ ब्रेक नहीं किया। उनको हमारे किलिंग जोन तक बिल्कुल भी खबर नहीं थी कि हम आगे फोर्ट एम्बुश लगा के बैठे हुए। तब वो मेरे एक ब्लॉक के आगे से गुजरे, जिनको मैंने हिदायत दी थी कि इनको आपने अपनी लोकेशन से क्रॉस करने देना है ताकि जब हम इंगेजमेंट स्टार्ट करें तो वो वापस अफगानिस्तान ना भाग सकें। उसने पास हमें किया कि ये अभी हमारी लोकेशन से क्रॉस हो चुके हैं और उस टाइम पे जवानों को पेशेंस रखना था कि उनके आगे से उनको गुजरने देना था जब तक कि उनकी कंप्लीट पार्टी उनको पास ना कर चुके।
दुश्मन आपकी तरफ आ रहा है और आप सब्र से बैठें और उनको इंतज़ार करें कि फैज नज़दीक आए। नज़दीक इसमें ख़तरा तो बहुत ज़्यादा है कि फैज जब जवाबी फायर तो वो करेंगे तो बड़ा अपने आप को बड़े सब्र से जवानों को भी यही बताया है कि ये जैसे नज़दीक आएंगे तब हमने फायर करना है, वरना ये हमारे काबू में नहीं आएंगे।
आगे जो कि नायब सूबेदार जमशेद का ब्लॉक लगा था वो मेन ब्लॉक था जो उनके रूट के आगे लगा हुआ था। उनको जब मैंने बताया कि आपको अगर पहला बंदा नज़र आए तो आपने इंगेजमेंट स्टार्ट कर देनी है,
तो मुझे भी नज़र आ गए थे। तो जैसे ही हमारी मुकम्मल किलिंग जोन में 40-50 बंदा आया और पीछे से जो हमारे ब्लॉक लगे थे उन्होंने क्लियरेंस दिया है कि तमाम बंदे हमारी पोजीशन से गुजर चुके हैं। बहुत ज़्यादा फायर एक दूसरे के ऊपर होता रहा। हमें तकरीबन 15-20 फ़ौरज उस टाइम किसी को ज़ख्मी हो गया, कोई उनको बिल्कुल किल हो गया। 15-20 जब फ़ौरज किल हुए हैं, कोई ज़ख्मी हुआ है तो वो गिर के बाकी छुप गया, कोई पहाड़ों के साथ ला के छुप गया, कोई दरख्त बहुत ज़्यादा है उधर तो दरख्तों के नीचे छुप गया। तकरीबन पूरा रात इसी में गुजर गई कि बहुत ज़्यादा फायर उनकी तरफ से होता रहा, हम भी फायर करते रहे। पहली रात हुई वो बहुत मुश्किल थी, क्योंकि वो बहुत ज़्यादा फायर जवाबी फायर कर रहे थे। बहुत नज़दीक भी गोलियां लग रही थी, ऊपर से भी जा रही थी। और हमारे लड़के माशाल्लाह से बहुत ट्रेन थे, उन्हें अपनी पोजीशन संभाली हुई थी ब्लॉकिंग पोजीशन पे, वो भी उनके ऊपर फायर कर रहे थे। फिर जैसे जैसे उनकी तादाद कम होती गई है, फिर हमारे लिए आसानी पैदा होती गई है।
जब फर्स्ट लाइट हुई उसके बाद हमने जब ऑब्ज़र्व किया क्वाडकॉप्टर से, तो उसमें आधे उसमें न्यूट्रलाइज हो चुके थे और आधे अंदर ही उसमें दरख्तों में और पत्थरों की आड़ लेके छुपे हुए थे। और हमने उसके बाद दोबारा इनको एंगेजमेंट मोटर से स्टार्ट की और क्वाडकॉप्टर से स्टार्ट की, और जो ब्लॉक उनकी रेंज में था वो एंगेज करता रहा जैसे जैसे उनको वो नज़र आते रहे। साथ ही साथ में वो भी वहाँ से फायर बैक कर रहे थे।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह कि हमारे ट्रेंड जवान थे, सोल्जर थे, उनको पता था कि हमने किधर फायर करना है और किधर से वो फायर करेंगे।
हमें अपने वेपन पे अबूल था सर, इत्मार था, अपने आप पे इत्मार था और हमारा जज्बा था और दिल और दिमाग से हम लड़े हैं, तो अल्लाह पाक ने हमें कामयाबी अता की है सर।
मैं नायब सूबेदार जमशेद साहब से 200 मीटर पीछे बैठा हुआ था ब्लॉकिंग पोजीशन पे। मैंने 12 चक्कर काटे हैं, सप्लाई की है मैंने दोनों ब्लॉकिंग पोजीशनों को अम्नीशन सप्लाई की है और मैं इनकी जगह पे जो है ना लड़ता रहा हूँ।
उस वक्त तक हमें ये इत्तला थी कि कम से कम 5 से 6 ख्वारजी अभी ज़िंदा हैं और छुपकर जंगल के अंदर से हम पर फायर कर रहे हैं। हमने उन्हें न्यूट्रलाइज किया और जहन्नम हासिल किया।
2 रात की लड़ाई के बाद अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह सबको हमने जहन्नम हासिल किया, जिसमें अल्लाह का हम पे इतना एहसान रहा कि हमारी एक भी कैजुअल्टी नहीं हुई।
71 दहशतगर्द एक ही तश्कील में मारे जाना, ये वॉर ऑन टेरर की पूरी हिस्ट्री जो हमारी 20-25 साल की है उसमें ये सबसे बड़ी इंगेजमेंट है।
इस पूरे ऑपरेशन के बाद मैं भारत को और उसकी प्रॉक्सीज़ को एक पैगाम देना चाहता हूँ कि आप बाज आ जाएं, नहीं तो आपको वही असर होगा जो कि हुआ है पहले।
हमारे जज्बे उसी तरह बुलंद हैं, हमारे जवानों का कॉन्फिडेंस उसी तरह बुलंद है। हमारी इस पाक सरजमीन पे आने की दोबारा से अगर वो जुर्रत करते हैं तो इंशाल्लाह हम उनका इससे भी बुरा हाल करेंगे जो कि हमने अभी किया।
मेरे ये जवान हथेली पे जान वतन का है मान जुर्रत के निशान जुर्रत के निशान जुर्रत के निशान
Welcome back. We have with us Air Commodore retired Syed Shoaib Saleem, who's Sitara-e-Imtiaz and also defense analyst. Thank you for being with us. And Vice Admiral retired Dr. Ahmed Saeed, who's the geopolitical analyst, former president NIMA. Thank you for being with us. Before we go on, Dr. Ahmed Saeed, when we look at the events of not a year ago, how do you assess them, not just militarily, but also on the diplomatic front? And of course, the fact that Pakistan chose to exercise restraint when dealing with an aggressor like India.
Yeah, Mahrukh, thank you very much for inviting us over, and Assalamu alaikum to the panelists. I think your question is if we see it in the geopolitical construct, whereby right from the turnover of century, the system started moving towards the multipolarity. And within that, of course, the systems and the countries, they started realigning, and regionalism started taking its course. So that means now the countries, they had to readjust their priorities according to the shifting tides. And that is where I think our political and military leadership, they started very wisely going into rehash our foreign policy, so that we remain relevant and we become a bigger force in this area. But having said that, within this, as we are also a nuclear power of this area, so we were consistently facing a challenge from our eastern side. Right from the 2000, if we see, we had a lot of events, one after the other, whereby we were engaged into a false flag operations, and they were trying to malign us into a lot of other areas to drain our or maybe sap our energies. But culminating onto the Marka-E-Haq, I would say that is where now the Pakistan intelligentsia and our political and military leadership, they thought enough is enough, that now is the time that we should give them a befitting response. And that is where our forces came into play, and we see that Marka-E-Haq was a day which is, I think, epic point of our history, whereby Pakistan came out of this as a very responsible country of this region. And that's how I think the ensuing historical dialogues and all these which is going on at the moment, Pakistan has come up as a middle power of this region, which is creating a peaceful environment, and that's how we are being regarded as a middle power of this region.
Do you think the narrative of self-restraint and, of course, that was exercised by Pakistan, of course, it's exemplary, but do you think that that was conveyed sufficiently on the international arena? And, of course, the fact that has it resonated in itself sufficiently as far as Pakistan is concerned?
Yeah, for the reasons that after the 2019 Pulwama, whereby we were again subjected to a war which was created by our eastern side. So at that time, I think that was a turning point where Pakistan diplomatic corps, they came up with certain solutions which indicated that we should give dossiers to all other countries, giving them the proofs of what India is doing. And that's how I think the tide started turning against. And once this Pahalgam incident came, now this time the entire world was watching this very carefully, and they initially from the very beginning they concluded that this is again another stage managed incident, and that's why they were not very sensitive to this incident. So I think this was a very good maneuver from Pakistan side, where they were able to convince the world that it is the irresponsible behavior of our eastern side which is creating problem in this region. It's not Pakistan. And that's how Pakistan came a very responsible state of this region.
Fair enough. Let me go to Air Commodore retired Syed Shoaib Saleem. Commodore, when we look, what message, in your opinion, was Pakistan trying to send through, Momin Masood also, and of course, as far as deterrence particularly and regional stability is concerned, for Pakistan in the kind of environment that we exist in, as far as neighbors are concerned?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. I think Pakistan is a peace-loving country and loving country, and we had always tried to have a balance of power in this region. We never had any hegemony designs, whereas our neighbor had been always doing that. And through Momin Masood's Marka-E-Haq and February 2019, and before that also, we'd always tried to show the restraint of aggression, to show we tried not to escalate. And we have proved over and time and again that we have created our deterrence and our value and potentials in this area. And it has been known to the world that Pakistan can be the regional stabilizer instead of India.
In terms of, when we look back, in terms of how this conflict itself has emerged, it has certainly been a conflict that has exposed new dimensions. What is your take on that? Because of course we saw the info, we saw drones, we saw, it has happened multifaceted, as far as the kind of warfare that we've seen, particularly with regard to Marka-E-Haq and the Momin Masood.
Yes, this was basically, it was a victory for the nation. And what I would say that all the pillars, all the elements of the national level, may it be Army, Navy, Air Force, our media, they played a very significant role, and our cyber warfare and our public, they all played a significant role. Coming to the Air Force specifically, it was kill chain multi-domain operation in which our leadership, President Chief of Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal Babar Ahmed Sidhu, he planned, rehearsed, and executed all his multi-domain operations in an excellent way, in which all the elements of airspace, may it be a airspace, may it be a satellite communication, or may it be a IT, or may it be a electronic warfare, all they were very well integrated and orchestrated to deliver the effect. And not only the Air Force, it was the synergical effect of all our elements, may it be Army, Navy, or the civil, or the diplomatical front, they all synergically achieved the goal and made the victory. And we are a proud nation, and Sqn Ldr, it was with the divine help of Allah. This victory has been achieved, and the deterrence has been achieved, that in this area we are the power to reckon with, and the whole world has accepted and recognized Pakistan's strong position in a defense.
On that note, let me come back to you, Air Commodore. Let me come back to you. I'm going to go to Dr. Ahmed Saeed. In terms of what we've seen as the situation overall is concerned, how significant was public unity, the way that the public rallied behind their armed forces? It rallied behind and continues to rally behind, and the confidence that it has reposed at a time of conflict. How do you look at that?
I think this is a very, very important aspect of this particular warfare, or type of warfare, which is a modern days warfare, whereby I think nations' unity plays a very, very important role. And in this Marka-E-Haq of Momin Masood, we have seen that it was the nation was so very well gelled with our political and military leadership that they gave them a synergy in a way that we were so confident that in times where the drones were being flown over our heads, we have seen in a lot of areas whereby the local public was going to engage them with their own weapons. So this is the kind of, I think, unity it was shown. Uh, Beside that, it is the resolve, it is the firmness which we have shown as a one nation. But in the previous question, you did ask about the restraint. Of course, the restraint was shown not as a kind of weakness. Rather, restraint was shown in terms of a responsible nuclear state, whereby because two nuclear states are uh, uh, geographically co-located, and it's a very, very dangerous situation in which a little miscalculation could have blown out of proportion and could have given a kind of results which were uncontrollable. And that was not being realized by the leadership on the eastern side, whereby Pakistani leadership was very cognizant of this. And that is the reason our response were very calibrated, to the point, focused, and very objective.
In terms of, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for joining us. I know that you have limited. Moving on, when we look at the situation now, in terms of Vice Admiral, when we look at significance of Pakistan balancing its military outreach with what we've seen, of course, in as far as diplomacy is concerned, what is your take on this? In a conflict like this, you know, preceding this and after also, as far as diplomatic outreach is concerned, as far as putting our narrative forward is concerned, what are your thoughts on this? Ji, can you hear me, Vice Admiral? Ji, Air Commodore Saeed, Shoaib, Saleem, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can I reply to this?
Ji, please, the question is for you.
Yes, diplomatically, Pakistan has shown a very, very good coordinated and comprehensive response, and meetings with all the international players, all the regional players, all the friends, and everyone. Our diplomatic corps, they played a marvelous role. I must say, I salute them. They had created the actual effect, what we had achieved on the battleground, and they were able to cash it through the diplomatic front. And they really are to be appreciated. And the previous question you said, in the restraint, Pakistan Air Force could have shot more aircraft as well, which has been revealed by the air staff, by the different media channels, but we restrained because the Admiral Sahab has already said that we are two nuclear nations and we have to have a very, very calibrated response, and through which we had achieved the target, we had achieved the deterrence, and there was no need to go further to escalate it. The first 6th, 7th, it was to deter them, and 10th was to stop the war. We stuck there all the bases inside deep, 36 bases without any loss, even till Delhi. And I would like to allow me to say from Air Force side, this was a classical aerial warfare in which Pakistan Air Force dominated the air skies. Pakistan achieved the air superiority. What we had been studying in the air war studies, it was achieved during this period.
Right. Thank you so much. Let me come back to you. I'm going to go to Javed Malik, who's a former ambassador. I'll come to you. Javed sir, when we talk about what happened and when we look back at it and, you know, events that have happened afterwards, in terms of military might, Pakistan's military has always been regarded as one of the finest in the world. Preceding Marka-E-Haq, we saw, of course, you know, only an escalation in that. We saw that the world's perception had only increased as far as the military particularly is concerned. In the light of the Defence Pact that we've recently, you know, of course, we now have with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What are your thoughts of this sort of course, spiraling from Marka-E-Haq itself?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate you and everybody watching, on the anniversary of Marka-E-Haq, the Battle of Truth. I think it's a moment of pride for every Pakistani, whether you are in media, whether you are in the military, or whether you are a civilian, ordinary Pakistani. I think Pakistan's foreign policy is based on peace and stability in the region. We do not have any hostile designs against anybody. As you know, we are currently engaged in a global peace initiative. So therefore, even in our neighborhood, whether it be India, whether it be Afghanistan, Pakistan's policy is that of positive coexistence and, living together peacefully. Unfortunately, however, the government on the Indian side, when they thrust a war upon us, we saw that Pakistan's brave and valiant armed forces defended our motherland with a lot of vigor. We saw that I think the name Banyan al-Marsus was such an inspiration for anybody, chosen by none other than the Field Marshal, General Asim Munir, inspired by the verses of the Quran, which translate to be the wall of steel. So whilst on our geographical borders, we saw our army defending like a Banyan al-Marsus. We saw our air force defending the skies, and just like that, every Pakistani, whether it be in the civilian life, in the media, in every domain of society, joined and rallied behind our armed forces and became a Banyan al-Marsus, or a wall of steel to defend our motherland. As you know, that in the modern day, warfare is not only in the battlefield or in the skies. We also have a war of narratives on which our media played a very important role. And I think I was watching the press conference by the DGISPR a couple of days back, General Chaudhary, and he mentioned that India chose they thought perhaps that we were having some political differences and it was a time where they could strike, but they didn't realize that when they strike us, the people of Pakistan will unite, and we are united behind our government, behind our armed forces.
I want to bring you to the question. I understand, of course, what you're saying, and there's no doubt about that. But in terms of the military particularly, and the way that it left a landmark post Marka-E-Haq on the diplomatic scene, which has of course resulted in defense pacts again. What are your thoughts on this? And of course, it translating and sort of resonating in the world, not just in the region.
Well, I was coming to that if you hadn't interrupted me, but what I was saying to you was that in the current scenario where in the current world, the global diplomacy is based on, it's interdependent with our hard power, which was established by our armed forces. If you are a strong country, the world takes you seriously. If unfortunately you happen to be weak, then the world does not take you seriously. So what we are seeing today, whether it be in the domain of the defense pact that you're talking about with Saudi Arabia, whether it be with the peace negotiations that Pakistan is leading, it is all directly connected to what happened on the Marka-E-Haq, on the Battle of Truth. Pakistan's hard power, Pakistan's diplomatic clout are interconnected. And I think credit goes to the leadership for ensuring that the people of Pakistan and, of course, our armed forces are united on the one page. Now, that is what is the real strength. When the people are united behind the armed forces, the world sees you as a serious nation, as a nation which is strong, resilient, united, and therefore, even your military might translates into a diplomatic impetus or a diplomatic clout, which we are seeing right now. And I think after that Banyan al-Marsus and the victory of the Battle of Truth, we saw that our Field Marshal had a lunch with the president of US. And that is, I believe, a turning point in our diplomatic standing. And Pakistan's relationship with America grew stronger. We maintain a very strong relationship with China, and at the same time also expanded our relationship with the Saudi Arabia, which led to a defense pact. And I think Pakistan's defense being impregnable is directly related to our strong foreign policy.
Right. Ambassador Malik, I'll come back to you. Air Commodore, when we look at this time, as far particularly the Air Force is concerned, with a neighbor like India, of course, we are constantly on guard as a nation. And the way that we established our power as far as Air Force particularly is concerned, and we've seen that narrative consistently, as far as India's false allegations have been refuted by no less than the President of the US countless times. In terms of the Air Force at this time, we saw a lot of building further on. In terms of building on from there, where do you think this is going to go? Sky seems to be the limit as far as the Air Force is concerned. What are your thoughts on this?
I'll start right from here, that you said sky is the limit. Yes, it used to be the skies of limit. Now it is a space is the limit for us. And we have embarked upon as a national level also for the space we are sending to astronauts. Anyway, coming back to your main question, that is that India has always tried to undermine Pakistan, and Pakistan Air Force is part of nation, and Pakistan Air Force has equipped itself and integrated its all assets, all resources, all energies in such a platform that it can synergically deter, defeat the enemy. All the designs, and we have, mashallah, very good leadership, very good training, very good morale, and very good equipment to counter any Indian aggressive design. And Shukran Abdullah, we are a nation to reckon with. We are not dependent upon any other world countries to feed us the weapons. We are self-sufficient. We have gained our air defense system indigenous, our aircraft indigenous, our missiles indigenous, and above all, we have the nuclear capability also. That also plays a very, very significant role. As Mr. Malik already said, that I would second him, that in case if you are strong enough, whether militarily, Air Force wise, rather Air Force plays a very significant role in any defense of the country. In case if you have credible defense, it can be translated very effectively into the diplomatic front. And I would add further into that, it should be converted into economic development. Then the use of this all strong message what we have given to the world.
Right, fair enough. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us. Javed sir, when we look at building what Air Commodore also had said earlier, in terms of moving forward economically, what do you see as the future? As far as diplomatic relations are also concerned, as far as, of course, we are looking at mediation as far as the US-Iran is concerned, and that is huge also. But in terms of moving forward into the world as an economic power, or translating this and building on this economically, how do you assess the future?
Well, obviously, most of these things are interdependent, interconnected, especially in a world of global interdependence. We understand that economics largely dominates the world of diplomacy. If you see nations that are growing closer together, they're primarily those that are trading, they have a good bilateral trade. So I think economics plays a very important role. In fact, in my opinion, the most important role in global relations these days. However, at the same time, in order for you to grow economically, you have to be militarily strong. Countries that are strong in terms of their, defense capabilities, especially if they have their indigenously developed resources. For example, there are many countries who might be very strong, but they're buying everything from, some other suppliers, which is, of course, requires them to be extremely rich. However, in case of Pakistan, our defense paradigm is based on reality, based on our own indigenous development. That is something which, is a matter of great satisfaction for us. But however, I do agree that in order for us to grow really as a nation, we need to be both militarily strong and also economically strong. Because if you look at an example of the USSR, which in the older days was a great power, but it disintegrated. It was not weak in terms of defense, but it was having some issues when it comes to the economic side of things. So I would agree with the Air Commodore, and I think with everybody who say that we need to grow more in terms of our economic. But at the moment, of course, we are doing that, and I think by establishing our credible deterrence, establishing Pakistan as a strong and a resilient nation, especially the spirit of unity, which I have explained to you earlier, and of course, the way Pakistan is playing its role in the global world of diplomacy in trying to avert, which could have been a third world war.
Ambassador, I'm going to interrupt you now again. In terms of this moving forward, in terms of the perception of the world, do you think that it has changed conclusively and conducively for these alliances, these economic alliances to emerge also, following Marka-E-Haq?
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely had a positive impact. If I were to say to you that they have, changed conclusively, I mean, in the world of diplomacy or economic diplomacy, things do change based on the, prevailing situations. But currently, Pakistan is sitting at a very good place in the world of global diplomacy. Previously, unfortunately, we were on the periphery or the outskirts of world diplomacy. Now we're in the center stage. It definitely enhances Pakistan's global standing, and I think that will play a very instrumental role when it comes to translating that or sort of converting that global influence into economic development. I think it is also, I think currently government is working on it. We saw our finance minister visiting the US. So I think they are all interconnected. But if you were to say to me whether they will remain so forever, obviously circumstances will dictate that. But every likelihood is that Pakistan is growing.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you for being with us. I'm going to move on to Ali Hamza, who is an geopolitical analyst. Thank you for being with us. Ali, of course, Marka-E-Haq and its effects continue to resonate for Pakistan and, positively over time. Do you agree that, even now we have been, we've seen sort of snubs happen as far as India is concerned. We've, seen refutations come from the US also. We've seen clarifications come in terms of the fact that, how many planes went down. So overall, in your opinion, when we look at the situation at this time, it's only improved for Pakistan when we look at a year down the road. Sqn Leader Ali Hamza, what are your thoughts on this?
First of all, thank you very much for having me on your program. And I absolutely agree with you, because the empirical evidence that suggests the rise of Pakistan, alhamdulillah, geopolitical rise, and I'll say the downfall of India since Marka-E-Haq. It's 1 year now. So that is quite evident. Their diplomats like Shashi Tharoor and everybody else, they tried to go there for the last 10 years. India has been trying to paint Pakistan in the geopolitical arena as an irresponsible state for years. But I think since 2016, it was very clear that Prime Minister Modi and their External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, it was their mission that we will isolate Pakistan diplomatically, cripple economically, and a terror state. And everywhere, once he will go any part of the world, he will say Pakistan, a dangerous country, a terror state, this and that. Now, since that May, actually, the world around, Indians still, they don't believe, but I'll not go there. But everybody else in the world, they are questioning that narrative. And I think what DGSPR also told in his brief, that actually almost everybody, maybe a few other countries which are very pro-India, they are still on that. But almost 80 to 90% of the world, they are not buying it anymore, this narrative of Pakistan a terror state. And it is only possible, alhamdulillah, because of that hard power, what happened on the night of 7th, and then it continued Marka-E-Haq for the next 4 months till the 10th of May. The center of gravity of Indian Air Force, the Rafale, the S-400, they were destroyed. And then, obviously, as I said, that they are asking for this evidence of this happened, this not happened. The people who actually matter, because in geopolitics, there is an hierarchy. There are great powers, then middle powers, then small powers. So the global political system, it is generally shaped by the international institutions and the great powers like USA, China, and Russia. So everybody who matters, they know. And that is, as I said, if anybody, any researcher around the world, you can just, don't take my word for it, you can do your own research, that just the geopolitical status of Pakistan and India till April 2025, and then from May 2025 to May 2026. And there are, I'll say, dozens of examples. As I said, the rise of Pakistan and the downfall of that Indian narrative and of them diplomatically. President Trump is just one example, how he has treated India, how he has treated the political and military leadership of Pakistan.
Right. Sqn Leader Ali Hamza, thank you for being with us. I think you're very right that the President of the US is just one example and one point of the world rallying behind Pakistan, of there being the facade falling as far as India is concerned, the continuation of the fact that the diplomatic outreach of Pakistan since 2025 to what has now happened preceding Marka-E-Haq is a huge, huge case in point of what Pakistan has achieved on the diplomatic front and continues to achieve. In terms of military also, we've made such a huge imprint on the world at this time, which we've seen as far as the defense pact is concerned, which is likely to be joined by other countries also. And of course, the kind of power that we have shown the world as far as Pakistan's military being ranked as one of the finest in the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being with us.